everybody. It's time for Talking with Topher. This is episode 272. It's June 19th, 2025, and I am still happy to be alive. Before I get into anything today, let me start off the way I always do by saying thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You are what keeps me coming back week after week. If you're new, remember to subscribe. If you want your opportunity to be on the podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. It's also where you can tell your story. Just send an audio, video, or type it out. Don't forget about that link tree. It's in the description below the video, along with everything discussed on this episode, and it is the easiest way to find everything, TwT. And now with all the housekeeping out of the way, it's late here, 1 p.m., and we're going to do Topher After Dark, everybody. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some wild shit, and here you go. All right, my first one here is a giant robotic bugs are headed to farms. Ground control robotics legged bots could weed crops better than humans. Huh? Or what? Wait a minute. All right. Humanoids, I understood. Machines, robots that can build, do things, I get it. Now we're going to make robot bugs? You know, we got the dogs. We got all these other robots. I didn't see bugs coming. Check this out. Look at these things. These are little bugs. And they go through and see they got blades on them. It's kind of creepy, dude. It reminds me, oh my God, what was the name of the movie back in the 80s with the robot spiders? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it for you. Because if you haven't seen this, I mean, it is really old, but oh my God, it petrified me as a child. It was a wild movie. It was a 1984 sci-fi movie called Runaway. It was PG-13, and the mechanical spiders don't look as creepy as I remember them, but I mean, for 1984, that shit was wild, and that's what this reminds me of. So if you haven't seen that movie, Runaway, go and check that out, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But these things have little knives and blades on them. This is not gonna. This can't. When these things, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. They're gonna take over. They're gonna run us down. Is there a video on this showing me how it works? Ground control robotics, everybody. Dude, this is wild.
Specialty agriculture poses unique challenges for modern farmers. Rising costs, labor shortages, and insecticide resistance are making crop care by hand expensive. Robots can offer solutions to these challenges, but uncertain terrain makes traditional wheeled and few-legged robots unreliable in specialty environments. Centipedes demonstrate robust locomotion in complex environments. Ground Control Robotics is a team of Georgia Tech researchers developing multi-legged solutions to modern agricultural challenges. Our corded models explore the principles of multi-legged locomotion in the lab, where mechanically intelligent limbs enable passive obstacle avoidance, and specialized gates allow smooth fall recovery. Vertical gates, combined with antennae that can sense obstacles, allow smooth traversal over debris. And a robot's low profile allows it to locomote effectively in confined environments, like pipes or under collapsed buildings. Our full-size model implements the locomotion principles we learned in the lab, and fully wireless, it can operate for 2 hours on a single charge. It effectively navigates the challenging environment of specialty agriculture, and antennae provide tactile environment sensing. It also has smooth automatic fall recovery. Mechanically intelligent design allows passive obstacle avoidance. Working in swarms, it can accomplish tasks like weeding and plant health monitoring. Our robot's low profile, robust design, and ability to work in swarms make it ideal for specialty agricultural applications. Ground control robotics, building a multi-legged future for anywhere mobility.
That is wild. Absolutely wild. So we're going to have robotic bugs. Robotic bugs, everybody, to keep the farms nice and clean, because paying people to pick it by hand is too expensive. There seems to be the same exact thing being said from industry to industry. To pay humans is too expensive. So we make a robot, and I mean, that thing can only run right now for 2 hours off of a charge. So you're not making it too far, and it didn't look like it was moving too quickly. But if it can learn from AI and you can put its programming through a simulation, you can update its capabilities faster. So even though this is in its infancy, how quickly is it going to evolve to where, I don't know how big a field is with corn, but let's just say corn. You got a cornfield. They're pretty big, right? How long before these little bugs can like be all in a house, right? It's like a barn, whatever. And you have it on like a sprinkler timer, okay? And then the timer goes off and they all emerge from the house, the house of the barn. And they just crawl on out, and then they go through the whole entire field, and then they come back and plug all themselves in or go on their charging dock or whatever it is. But how long from now till we get to that? I don't really, I mean, I didn't even think we were, I didn't even know we needed bugs to help farms weed out the weeds. So, I mean, if if we got robots that could possibly be getting into a ring because they're learning how to fight, then these bugs should be relatively easy to program, right? The dogs can scan full areas, learn a building, all of its safety routes, its fire exits, whatever, and then it can roam the building by itself. So the possibilities of this bug and multiple bugs next to it being able to clean up like a cornfield, probably not even a year away, right? Probably not even a year away. All right, everybody, this is one of my favorite things right here. RFK Jr. says CDC will no longer recommend the COVID vaccine for children and pregnant women. All right, yay. I can't be very loud. It is, like I said, very, very late. But this is amazing. This is amazing. This should have happened years ago. I mean, I talk about this because I was, and I'm so glad that nothing happened. I don't know if something's going on, but nothing happened. I had a customer come in, and she was on her way to the hospital because she said that she took it, and now her veins in her ankles and legs and feet are all clogged. Absolutely terrible. And she had no problem announcing it. And, I think that's the way everybody needs to be. If you had complications or this has changed your life for the worse, speak up. We all need to speak up because we cannot allow them to get away with this. We cannot. And to see the recommendation for this vaccine to go away is probably the safest thing for all of us. Like I said, it's not all of them. I just think there's too many of them today. And the ones that really, really work You know, those are the ones we want to keep around, the ones that actually eradicate the diseases. But if you want to turn the world into this giant experiment, well, you're going to have to, get permission next time. There's going to be some penalties when you hurt people. I hope this never happens again. You know what I mean? So I was super pumped about this. I'm not sure if there's a video. Let me check. Yep, right here.
In today's Health Watch, the Trump administration is making big changes to the COVID vaccine recommendations. Health and Human Services Secretary, that's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., announced just yesterday that he is rolling back COVID vaccine guidelines for healthy pregnant women and for children. The CDC has previously recommended vaccinations for anybody over 6 months of age, so that's children, including pregnant women. So to break all this down, sort it out for us, we're joined by CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook, because he always has the answers. Hello, Dr. LaPook.
I try to answer.
Try, and you do a good job on
questions.
So yesterday, Secretary Kennedy did not provide any clarification about why this is happening and why this is happening now. So can you just tell us how COVID affects pregnant women and little kids in particular?
Well, I think you have to start off with pregnancy itself,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
pregnancy is an altered immune state, and really that altered immunity is why the mother doesn't reject the baby as being foreign. That also increases the risk of having certain types of infections and bad outcomes from it. So flu and COVID, and increases the risk not only to the mother, but to the baby and to the fetus. So that brings us to this recommendation. Now you have to have some background. Normally there is an advisory committee meeting. In fact, it's scheduled for June. And it's a totally open, transparent process. You have experts who are talking, you have public input, you hear about the pros and the cons, the questions.
Put everything on the table.
Put it on the table, and then the committee makes a recommendation, and they give that to the CDC director, and if the CDC director agrees, then they send it on to the HHS secretary.
That's no longer the case.
Yeah, you said normally.
Normally, this has short-circuited that normal procedure, so now we're just hearing this recommendation, but we're not hearing the nitty-gritty details.
Or why.
Or the why.
Why he's doing it.
Kennedy says there's a lack of clinical data to support additional boosters for healthy children. What does the science say?
So I think that's something that's an interesting question, right? So the question is, if you've had COVID as a child, or maybe you've had 3 or 4 or 5, boosters, what's the incremental benefit from one more? And I think that's an open question, and I'd love to see that debated in an open forum. I think it's trickier when you talk about saying we're not going to recommend COVID immunization to pregnant women, because I was just doing a deep dive on the data. A CDC study that ended last March of 2024, was 8 months, showed that hospitalizations, kids under the age of 6 months have the second highest hospitalization rate, second only to people 75 and over. Wow. So they are especially vulnerable, right? Why are they vulnerable? Because as opposed to everybody else who's out there getting maybe infected or getting the boosters, they are born with no immunity. And for the first 6 months, remember, the first shot is at 6 months of age.
Right.
What are they relying on?
Their mother's
maternal antibody that crosses the placenta and gives them protection.
Wow. All right, so what could this decision do when it comes to access or even insurance coverage?
Yeah, well, so that's the big thing. If the CDC is not recommending it, then insurance coverage could go away. Right now, it's covered in most cases. We looked to see what the price difference would be. It's for kids, it would be about $57 maybe, according to the CDC schedule, and maybe about $137 for adults. So that's not nothing if you're trying to get a vaccine and you don't have a ton of money.
And COVID's not nothing either. COVID is still something. I just got my booster last week because I am over the age of 65, and I don't see the downside to getting the booster.
Right, and I think that's what you want to discuss.
You and my mother.
And it's not just getting COVID. And you can say, well, kids generally do pretty well, but there are issues of long COVID, other issues, complications. Kids are not immune from having a bad outcome. So I think I'd like to see the open, transparent discussion.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. LaPook.
I don't know. I don't think there needs to be a discussion anymore. I think we all know when we've been fooled, This rolled out way too fast, and as far as I'm concerned, they should have, if they wanted to roll it out fast like they did, then they should have also had to had fault if anything went wrong. I think that's what the problem, where the problem lies really, is because of the simple fact that they were allowed to roll this out, and then if anything went wrong, they weren't liable. And now people are hurt, or it's killed people or whatever, and they still want to talk this up like it's good. Like, I get it. If you're over 65 and you have comorbidities and all these other things, I guess it's helping. I don't know. Do we actually know if this is helping anybody? Or does it make it easier for you to catch it? Or does it clot your blood and cause myocarditis? I don't know, everybody. Look, I bet you it's all of the above. But the problem is that this thing rolled out hot and fast. It's not designed the way our other ones are. And it was experimental. So that in itself really bothers me. So I do hope it's helping people. I really do. Because I don't believe it helped anybody that's dead. I just don't. There's a lot of those people that can't speak of the reasons why, right? So all we can do is listen to the professionals tell me why. Well, they labeled everything that for how long, and screwed up our not even like the medical records, right? But we all know they did it. So medical records really got screwed up for quite some time, if they're not still being screwed up today. So, I mean, it's just so annoying, all right? I think this is a great thing. I don't really think there needs to be an open debate about it. It should be up to you and whether or not you want to do it. And if the money discourages people from getting these shots, then I think that's also a good thing. Because honestly, I don't know if we ever needed it in the first place. I really don't. Would it have just taken out most of the old? It's possible, but we'll never know. Because we added this thing into the mix, and it caused so much confusion. You know? I still believe to this day that it was completely and absolutely unnecessary. All of it. And yes, there would have been more, there would have been some more dead people. But again, I do believe it would have been the elderly and anybody with comorbidities and major health issues. And I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just saying, I think we would have had better data if they did it differently. And I bet you they have actual data that they will not tell us, because what I'm saying is correct. Getting it, being immune to it, and getting over it is way better always than injecting yourself with something that can catch that can make you almost catch it faster. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. This whole thing is crazy, but this thing is only 4 years old. The stuff we've been using is older than I am. So, when you try to compare the two and you're like, well, you took this, but you won't take, yeah, because there was decades of research and stuff that happened with that like proved that it worked. This has been around for a couple years, and if you want to go, oh, well, it's been around a lot longer than that, yeah, in secret, and they weren't telling us all about it. Hell, the only other reason that I will give anybody out there that they rolled this out was to make mRNA known, to make it something that everybody knows what it is now. Because nobody knew what it was. It was a secret. It was in their little lab. They were doing little tests. I'm making some mRNA. And nobody can know because this stuff is really contagious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever. It doesn't do quite what it's supposed to yet. Every time I keep doing this, the mice keep, heart failure, blood clots. All right, well, just push that to the side, grab the next one, and do what you can do, because we can't document that. I just feel like there's a lot of deception with all of this. So to see somebody to go ahead and stop the deception, I think is great. Okay, so I thought this was interesting. This is how people spent their time from 1930 to 2024. And we wonder why society is in a decline. This is wild, everybody. Like, I don't know, but when I was a kid, it was always my friends. I was always out, never home, and we weren't watching TV or anything. We were always outside doing something. So I think this is very interesting to watch it move, man, and see just how much it has changed. It is wild. But you're actually watching family decrease, friends increase. Now we're at 1947, 48, 49, 50. Friends is massive in the 50s. 60s, massive. Family a little bit less. Schools depleting. Bar and restaurant go up. Co-workers go up 75. Now co-workers are growing. Bar and restaurant, co-workers are growing. Friends are still almost 30%. 1990, friends are almost 30%. It's going up. Ooh, look. Hey, online is showing up. And look at how it ruins everything. Man, that was before 2005. And look at it 2024 today. I mean, that is just insane, everybody. This is why the world is broken today. Because people are spending more time online than with friends, family, co-workers. We as a society are literally blockading ourselves and isolating ourselves. It's really, really sad. I'm kind of watching the video again. I really want to see where friends. See, online showed up 1999, and then it skyrockets. Wow. But friends stays, drop. And, okay, so let me read this to you. Online in 2024, everybody, is 60.76. And I don't know if, like I just said, friends barely made it to 30% in 45 years. In 45 years. And in 25 years, online is 60%. Actually, 60.76, which is pretty massive. Right now, friends is 13.86. Co-workers is 8.48. Bar and restaurant, 4.91. Family is 4.52, everybody. School, 3.33, which, I don't know. Is that because people are going to college less? Which makes a hell of a lot of sense. Who wants to pay for that shit? Church, 2.12. I think that should be 0. Neighbors, 1.28. I can't say that I hang out with my neighbors, but I talk to them. And then college is 0.74%. Wow. Now, the 0.74% on college, is that because of the remote learning? Right? Because that depleted very quickly. by 2019. Wow. I don't know, man. It's crazy watching the movement of where the percentages were staying and being, and just watching it move like that blew my mind. I knew that we spent a lot of time online. I had no idea it was that amount, which means, what, give it another fucking 16 years and that online will be at 100%. It's over 60%. That's crazy. So everybody's going to be online and they're not going to do anything? This is making so much more sense. This is what they want. They want you all stuck online. They want the robots doing your jobs. So what are we going to do? Because I hate playing video. I mean, I don't hate playing video games, but I hate playing video games. I don't really go online that much. I do this. That's about it. But, oh, man, I don't know. Does that blow anybody else's mind out there? I think that's crazy. All right. So I guess I think this is the Palisade fires. There's this gentleman that I believe one of the houses that burned down was his. So he is recording this, and he's making some comments. And I thought this was great because, again, this comes up from time to time. I've said this many times about these fires. They seem pretty evident of... There's always a land grab. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. This could be true. Let's check it out.
This guy claims that the government had orchestrated this.
Live in Malibu, California. I want you to please help me comprehend this. How this home is completely burned to the ground, and I got green grass right here. Can somebody please help me understand that? I'm not a real smart man. I'm not. But look at this. Does this grass just not burn or what? I mean, is this like fire retardant grass that doesn't burn? But the house is completely gone. Completely gone. The house over there is completely gone. And then over here, if you look back, the houses across the way have blue roofs. And they're not burnt up. So this isn't a conspiracy, guys. This is, I repeat, this is a directed energy weapon is what this is, okay? Plain and simple. This was not an act of God in any form of the fashion. This was an act of war by the United States government on the people here in Malibu, California. Look at them right there. Roof, perfectly fine. This is crazy. It's insanity. They wouldn't let me in, but I walked in behind everything. They don't want you to see this.
How is it possible that only the houses were destroyed? That's why.
That's the other thing, too. They will not. I know. I understand. Yes, the air's bad. Everything's bad. Yeah, you shouldn't be there. But to tell people that they can't go to their house so they can at least have some closure and take a look at what happened, I mean, that's crazy. Anybody, I'm pretty sure any house fire that happens, most people go back to the house if they can to at least rummage through some stuff, you know, depending on how badly it was burned. But they were literally blockading these people from ever getting back into these areas. Why? Why? Why is it that you don't want us to see this? Is this guy right? Hey, Biden's mentioned the blue roofs. I've mentioned the blue roofs. I don't know how many people have mentioned the blue roofs. And I even said when I got a new roof, I wish, and I totally don't know how I forgot to go blue. So now I'm fucked. But I do believe in the Blue House. I do believe in those weapons. And I do think that this could be an act of war by our government on our people. Because I don't know if you've kept up with Palisades or Malibu or any of the stuff that's going on, that nobody's rebuilding right now. Nobody's rebuilding. People are still having trouble getting back to their houses, getting their land, and getting things cleaned up even after the time that needed to elapse did, and they're still not letting them in. Well, why? Why are you not letting them in? What do you have planned? You know, I feel like I want to imagine, I should say. I want to imagine that there's just like all the Richie Riches, right? You got like Oprah, Bill Gates, Bezos, Elon. They're all showing up. And then, like, you know, you just got an auction. You got an auction guy up at the top. And they're like, and no one knows this is going on because they're doing it in secret. And they're just auctioning that off, and top bidder gets the 15-minute city in their name. Telling you, they're up to something. Boston Dynamics just dropped a new atlas that actually thinks. What? What do you mean it actually thinks? I mean, didn't you say that's what AI does? Now, this video is 12 minutes, and let's see what they got going on. It's actually thinking?
First stop, Boston Dynamics Atlas Lab. The engineers there just bolted a totally new perception stack onto their titanium parkour star, and the effect is almost like handing the robot a brand new set of eyes and a finely tuned inner ear. The two-dimensional layer labels everything in a scene, the floor, the racks, the oddly shaped brake calipers, so the robot knows what's what at a glance. Then the three-dimensional layer locks in a cloud of key points around each shelving unit, measuring inner and outer corners so precisely that Atlas always knows where the slot for part A sits, even if somebody nudges the whole shelf mid-task. That happened in the test video. While Atlas was shuttling car parts, a Boston Dynamics tech kept sliding the steel rack half a meter this way and that. The robot paused for a blink, recalculated its own pose relative to those key points, and kept working. Another tech dropped a heavy part behind Atlas. The microphones heard the clang but couldn't triangulate, so the vision system swung around, spotted the stray item, and the grippers scooped it up. All of this has to be tight because the shelf cells give only a 5-centimeter margin. If the wrist drifts by a single centimeter, the part jams. That's why the team built a thermal and impact calibration loop, so Atlas stays registered even when the metal frame expands at noon, shrinks at midnight, or takes a chest bump. They're calling the next frontier athletic intelligence, meaning they want every motion to look deliberate instead of cautious. And you can almost see the swagger creeping in already.
It does look like it is being cautious. That's kind of funny. I didn't realize that was just how the robot moves. So, yeah, because all the humanoids kind of move as if they're being cautious. But that's just their mechanisms and how they move. So they want it to be more real. But I've never actually heard anybody put it into words like that. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. Dude, that Atlas has gotten crazy. The vision is way better. They must have put a 4K camera in that thing. And man, remember before it was just like a weird outline and everything was like blocky and gray, and now it's super crisp and clean, and that the robot has advanced so much already in 7 months, and it's just gonna keep doing it. You know what I mean? I wonder what the total amount of time has been on just that one robot. But speaking of robots, I promised you a fight, and it is here. I don't know if we're going to get the whole fight. I was really hoping so. Yeah, I couldn't find the whole video. This is all I could find on it. So I'm hoping we get to see a good amount. All right, let's check this out. I told you they were gearing these robots up to fight, and here it is, everybody.
3回合，现场准备。
Boss，
好，哎呀，好，腿部动作都想用一次成功的踢腿动作获得3分。
对，而且看他那个手，
郑老师直接把关系小将击倒，又起来了。
6, 7, 8, box。
现在这2位各有一次倒地
Hey,
了，
he was already
而且
punching
这次
him.
吧，你就感觉自己重心会偏。哎，
而且我发现他们起立
哟，这拳给的可以，
非常准啊，
直接一黑虎掏心。
再来一
this is about
下，
as
这回
good
要
as I
打中了
thought it
硬
was
肋
gonna
啊！
be.
现在咱还真不能说软肋。
Oh, what happened there?
2, 3, 加油 4, 5,
哇，这边已经变成格斗了，
9,
这不是纯的拳击了。
接下来准备裸跑，
对，
比赛结束。
哇 ，KO 了。
对，哎呀
That was literally the worst fight ever. But yeah, so I mean, I could only watch that for so long, but that's Muay Thai. The robots are now fighting, and they're doing it in China. And man, if this is where they're at right now, just give it some time. It's gonna be like the rest of them. They're gonna get better and better and better, and eventually, those things are gonna be better than our professional martial art, like all the cage winners. You know what I mean? Like they'll be able to download John Jones into the robot. Wouldn't that be crazy? Holy shit. We're gonna do a little bit of positive stuff here. I think there needs to be more positive talk in the world. And you know, there's lots of people out there probably wondering why they don't have 2 parents, or why they have no parents, or other things going on. And I think this was a really, really touching message. And so I want to play it for all of you. All right, check this out. Check this out. And don't be afraid to have a heart, everybody. It's okay.
I promise you, somebody needs to hear this today.
This morning we had a beautiful new set of twins, as you see right here behind me. This is their mama, and they're both together, a little boy and a little girl. But I want you to notice something. See what Mama's doing right there? Somehow this morning, before I got here, Mama got separated from this little girl. And now Mama has decided to reject that little girl. So that means, guess what? The shepherd gets to take his little lamb home and raise it, which is going to make my little son Truett really happy because he wanted to bottle raise a lamb. But I saw a lesson in this, and I want to share it with you. Sometimes in our life, someone who's really important to us, who means a lot to us, who we think our survival depends upon that person, they reject us. They turn their back on us, and they leave us alone. They won't let us have the milk that we think we need. They won't feed us. They won't groom us. They won't even clean us off. This little lamb is nasty. She's been born for half a day, and her mama hasn't cleaned her off. And as you see, she's butting her, and now she's afraid of her. And oftentimes we wonder, why did that person who was so important to me, did they leave me? Why did they abandon me? Why are they hurting me? Why are they rejecting me? Maybe, just maybe, it's because the shepherd wants to pick you up and take you home, clean you up and feed you himself. And in that way, you will form an intimate, close relationship with the shepherd. I've got a lamb right now that we started bottle feeding last year. He's now a year old, a big ram. He's like a big puppy dog. I come in the field, he runs to me. He loves me. He wants to be with me. My daughter, who did most of the feeding, man, he is excited when she shows up. So I'm looking forward to raising this little girl right here, because I know when I get done, she'll run to me. She'll love me. She'll stick with me no matter what. So maybe it's just that when someone's left you or abandoned you that you think life is terrible. Maybe it's just because the shepherd wants to pick you up and spend some intimate time with you.
If you know Jesus loves you, subscribe for more.
I know I don't really care for that message at the end, but I just thought that was a great message, everybody. I know the part at the end I don't always agree with, but I mean, the message itself was absolutely touching. Very, very touching. It was even good, you know, just as good the second time around. But let's go into the next one here. This one is wild, everybody. Absolutely crazy. So 16 years ago, they said this on TV, and no one paid attention, which I thought was very interesting. Let's play this.
What I'm about to show you is crazy. I found an old clip from 16 years ago.
If you have kids at home, this next segment is for you. This Friday, the newest batch of Disney Channel stars grown in the Disney Genetic Engineering Lab will be unveiled to the public.
Right. Now, Tracy, most of our viewers are already familiar with a lot of the products that have come out of the Disney
I know
Lab.
I am.
Yes, but how exactly do you create a Hilary Duff or a Miley Cyrus from scratch?
Right.
Well, we're going to find out exactly how it's done right now, because joining us live from the Disney Lab is one of their lead geneticists, Dr. Andrew Rourke. Welcome, Dr. Rourke. It's quite an operation you've got going on out there.
Thanks, Jim.
So the stars that we see on TV are actually grown right here?
That's correct. They're grown and developed here. We engineer their brains for advanced singing and dancing capabilities, even posing for photos. By the time they grow to desired size, these child stars are fully ready for the camera or the concert tours or whatever Disney chooses to put them in.
That is simply amazing. Now, how long does it take to actually create a star from scratch?
Well, not very long at all. We use the exact same DNA structure for all of our stars, and then we simply tweak minor details like hair color or skin tone.
Right, yeah, we do have some footage here of some of the well-known creations that have come out of your lab. Let's take a look.
Yes, well, that's model 6831-A.
He literally just referred to that human as an item number.
Publicly known as Mitchell Musso.
What?
Standard male base with type 3 skin pigmentation.
Wow.
And that's model 6831-B. We give him slightly thicker eyebrows and type 5 skin.
Well, so it's sort of like putting a puzzle together there.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Okay, here we've got some of the images of some of the newest models. We're going to be seeing a lot of these kids in the future.
It really looks like you have someone for every kid in America to love
Well, that's
here.
the idea, Tracy. Our writers find it very liberating. For example, our new model, Haley, is a singing, dancing, snowboarding, half Japanese, half Indian girl.
Wow.
Now, finding her in reality would be impossible.
Right. Sounds like a surefire hit to me. Oh, now this one's Zac Efron. I've seen him before.
Yes, Zach was actually one of our earliest
My
models.
daughters love him. I mean, he looks so real.
Actually, I think we could have done a better job with Zach. He could show more human tendencies.
What?
If you look closer, you'll notice there's a certain deadness around the eyes.
I do
Oh
see
my
that. Yeah.
God! Did he just call Zac Efron dead around the eyes?
With that 16 years ago that came out. I wonder what they're doing 16 years later.
So going out on a limb, this video possibly could be 100% doctored. I did see some of the comments, and a couple people were like, "This is bullshit." But man, I don't know. I'm not saying that's real. What I'm saying is Disney does a lot of things that I believe possibly are well, a little fringe. Let's call it that. So, is the possibility of doing this far-fetched? No. We've been talking about cloning on this podcast here for quite some time. You've heard about the Cabbage Patch, right? Cabbage Patch Kids? Yeah, you know about the Cabbage Patch Kids if you listen. So, if we were doing it in 1926, we can do anything today. Hell, Disney could do anything in 1956, right? But I do believe that, Disney is kind of dark. The whole thing, to me, is obviously, I know it's supposed to be this magical place, blah, 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 great for kids, do. Yep, I get that. But there's just a lot of dark stuff with Disney, too. So you never know. Is it possible that they grow their own stars? But to call Zac Efron dead around the eyes, say he could have been a better model, and to call, like, he didn't even call those kids. He was just like, that's M15-F. I'm like, what? But do I believe that Disney could do some stuff? Or that maybe they're Cabbage Patch Kids? They just gave them a different name. Now they're Disney kids. See how that works? That's what I was thinking. This one is wild, and I'm telling you right now, okay? I don't know about this shit, man. I do not know about this, okay? But he's going to tell you all. But he's going to tell you all about it. And make sure you're sitting down when you listen, watch, whatever. And please watch at your own risk. I'm not sure if I can actually. I might have to blur some of this shit out for the YouTube edit. I'm not sure, though. But I will do my best, and I'll keep it in if I can, okay?
My name, it's not too important. What I'm about to tell you, it's extremely important. I'm one of the first people to get a Neuralink implant in my skull. If you guys can see and don't really know what a Neuralink is, it's kind of like an electronic chip from Elon Musk embedded in your skull. At first, it was kind of like a Fitbit, kept track of vital signs, stuff that was going on in my body. Eventually, it's gotten to a point where I can move a mouse without even touching a computer. I can connect, I can download, I can transfer information. I'm not the only person that has one of these now, and now we can communicate. This is what's going to happen for the rest of the world. Eventually, this technology will be, maybe not in you, your kids, your grandkids. This is what's coming next. Welcome to the year 2025. Have fun.
That is insane, man. I don't know. So he's saying that there's somebody else with that Neuralink and they can now communicate telepathically, which is what Elon was telling Rogan how many years ago? So it's here. And that's wild. So telepathically, he can do things now. Well, I mean, that would make sense because the Neuralink for the gentleman who was in the wheelchair that couldn't move his arms or his legs had capability through Neuralink to use his mouse and click things and play a game of chess and answer the phone. And so he could, and it made him capable of doing those things. So for this gentleman to have it in his brain and he's fully functioning, isn't this the thing that drove the monkeys mad? Oh, God. Well, I hope for his sake it really is the future and this is not just a small window in time before something catastrophically goes wrong with it and fries that guy's brain. And then he's no longer on the planet. But don't worry, bet you anything it would be signed off as we're not responsible. You know what I mean? Somehow I feel like the responsibility of that would be taken out. Elon's like, I'm not going to be responsible for this. So once I sell it, it falls on the installer. You know what I mean? He's like, I sold you a perfect product, man. If you didn't install it correctly, it's not my fault. His brain turned into a microwave. Fuck. Oh, my God, dude. That would be wild. Speaking of wild, check this out. This is Dr. Phil, and I thought this was crazy when I saw it. I love this.
You think that I could be an Illuminati member?
I think you potentially could be an Illuminati member, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
I don't think that you get this amount of power and influence and media coverage without taking a deal.
With who?
The Illuminati. They would come and say, Dr. Phil, we can offer you all the money, we can offer you power, we can offer you influence. You just need to take a deal with us.
Could I be wearing a mask?
You could. Could I get up and look?
No, how are you going to look?
I'm just gonna...
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
I think that the technology is so advanced.
Let me tell you, sister, if I was wearing a mask, it wouldn't look like this.
And that's supposed to prove to me that he's not wearing a mask because it would have been a better looking mask. That's not true. You have to look like Dr. Phil, stupid. So, I don't know, man. Do you think Dr. Phil is part of the Illuminati? I mean, think about it, dude. Think about where he's at and where Oprah's at. And I believe Dr. Phil and Ellen and a few others out there are all on the same playing field. You know what I mean? They're all at the same level. And, yeah, I totally and absolutely believe that there is some type of something that could be trying to pull at some strings. Not sure if it's that one per se, but I mean, it could be, right? And if it is, well, then that's why YouTube cut it out from the episode like 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So, look, it was more because it was Comedy Central. Like, I don't even understand that, too. Like, they were like, Comedy Central. And I'm like, what? There's still a thing? They actually still exist? What are they doing? Just hanging on to all the content they ever purchased and just regurgitating it? Because I don't know anybody putting anything out on Comedy Central anymore. You know what I mean? Like that I found very funny. All right, so here, this one is really cool. This is Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. Yes. And this is a mysterious city that I have never heard of before. But I thought this was very interesting and really cool looking.
Have you heard of this mysterious city? It's called Ashgabat, and it's the capital of Turkmenistan. The architecture looks like technology.
Looks like technology.
Apparently, the people don't pay for energy.
Huh?
There are many pictures, but so little people can be spotted.
This place is real?
The architecture resembles free energy technology.
What?
Have you seen the street lights? And how many there are? The whole place is lit up at night too.
Wow.
But why?
That's wild, dude. It doesn't look like anybody's there. Almost every
Have a look
single
for yourself
photo.
using Google Maps.
Oh, look at this. They're putting it in Google Maps.
The geometry and patterns are crazy.
What?
Is this the grid? And are they trying to hide it with trees?
Whoa. What the fuck is that?
Look at how much it's lit at night with no one around.
Wow.
Wouldn't be feasible with gas power, right?
Be way more expensive, that's for sure.
It's so advanced and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Huh. I want to go. That is wild, isn't it? So okay, so I made a mistake. I thought the gentleman that was talking was Ashgabat. No, it's Ashgabat, Turkmenistan is the city, and they looked it up on Google Maps, and it's real. It is real. So I looked it up on Google Maps. It's real. And that grid is very interesting. And I don't know what he meant by, like, they're hiding it by trees, but I didn't zoom in. But looking at it on Google Maps, I was like, holy shit, this is real. I've never heard of it before. And I mean, if there is an actual city in 2025 that is using energy that they're making, and it's, oh my God, it's free. Well, I don't know. Should I be talking about this? Or because, I mean, you talk about free energy. I don't know. There might be, some type of fire that happens. I didn't see any blue roofs over there. Oh, man. Free energy, blue roofs, BPAs, everybody. BPAs. Did you know that it is possible that these things are in this is in thermal receipts. I saw this the other day, and it does make a lot of sense. I wouldn't. I've always thought that the receipt was weird, anyways. So when I saw this, I wanted to share it with everybody.
Receipts are thermal paper. Essentially, they're coated with BPA. There's a thermal reaction that happens when heat is applied to the BPA. It prints text on the receipt without actual ink. If you ever see like a white coating on the receipt, that's BPA. I was in the airport coming here. The guy that was like handling the receipt, he's like, "Do you want the receipt?" I'm like, "No." And I saw him take it out and put it in the trash. There's this huge line of people.
You're doing that 500 times a day.
Exactly. And I looked at the guy and I was like, "I just want to tell you that these receipts are lined with endocrine disruptors." I couldn't not say something. It's been correlated with a decrease in testosterone. I was like, "You need to wear nitrile gloves." Nitrile gloves can stop people from absorbing it. Any kind of cashier, anyone that's handling a receipt multiple times a day, highly recommend they wear nitrile gloves. Latex doesn't do that. Also, if you wear cream or hand sanitizer, it's been shown to increase the dermal absorption of BPA by 100-fold. 100x absorption.
That right there blew my mind. And if you don't know who that is, so she is a very credible doctor. It is Dr. Rhonda Patrick. So if you know this right here, she has some very, very good information. And if she's saying there's BPAs on these receipts, man, I do have to say I've put them in my mouth. So that's terrible to find out. But yeah, so watch out for that, because if you're absorbing that into your skin, it's terrible for you. The BPAs are no good. They literally destroy your hormone balance. So I guess it's more worrisome if you're a clerk, at Walmart and you're handling those receipts. I almost want to tell the lady at Trader Joe's, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. But, it's wild. Did you ever think there were BPAs on the receipt? And why? Why are there BPAs on the receipt? I don't know. Well, we've got another great message, and I can't wait to show this to you. I thought this was so cool and done so well. This professor, teacher, whatever, really, really good job.
Watch as this professor explains life's most important lesson. The ending is truly eye-opening.
Okay, boys, turn around. John, what color is the ball?
The ball's white. Seriously? Bro, you just like making things difficult?
Well, what color do you say the ball is?
Black. The ball is black, clearly. I don't know what you see around, but the ball is white.
Without looking at the ball, I want you to both switch places. Okay, both of you, please turn around. And what color is the ball now? Okay, please have a seat. Throughout our lives, we believe many things, and we hold dear what we think is right and true. But at times there'll be others who disagree with us. What we believe to be 100% right, they believe the opposite just as strongly. We can become frustrated, we might grow distant, we may even sever relationships entirely. Slow down. Breathe. Step into the other person's shoes. It'll make all the difference.
It's such a good fucking message, everybody. It's such a good message. You really do have to kind of put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And I just thought these were two great messages today. I don't think we think about these things enough. And even though I don't believe per se God, Jesus, the whole thing, just because you are abandoned or pushed to the side does not mean you cannot be loved or be cared for. So don't forget that. I don't know if the Shepard's going to pick you up, but I'm sure there's somebody out there for you to help you get through this life we're all living here. But none of us are experts on what to do or how to do it. So just remember, slow down, breathe, and before you react, just try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. All right, everybody. So on that note, I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. You are what keeps me coming back and doing this silly thing week after week. If you're new, subscribe. You want an opportunity to be a guest and tell your story? talkinwithtopher at gmail.com. And then, of course, the Linktree link where you can find everything TWT is in the description below the video, along with all the links on this episode of Topher After Dark. Yeah. But thank you guys. Thank you so much. And I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you later.